Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
I'd like to introduce our next guest. Her name's KATRINA HERNANDEZ. She's the family services manager at Science Care. And for you who don't know, now, of course, I've had Science Care on for years. They're a very, very, very important organization, especially for people who are having to make those final arrangements. And a lot of people don't quite know what to do, but that's why we have shows like this, so we can help you understand. And so welcome to our show, KATRINA.
Thank you so much.
So I just want everyone to know that we have been having advertising from them, the wonderful Science Care organization, because they believe so much in what they do. They started many years ago with just, an idea, and they started doing what they do, but now they're exploding with so many people who have joined them. I joined them, and it's just been great. And what it is, it's whole body donation for medical research and training. And the nice part is it's free. When you... it's hard even to believe this. There's free cremation. There's no age limit. And it's just an amazing opportunity. So why don't you fill people in, KATRINA, on what this really is?
Absolutely. So Science Care is a whole body donor program. We link those that wish to donate their body to science with medical research, education, and training programs. So those programs could be, training surgeons to do less invasive surgeries so we can lower the recovery time and improve the outcomes of major surgeries, to advancements in certain treatments of disease, those just to name a few. So we work with some of the most prestige medical programs globally, both domestically and internationally. So we are able to support a wide variety of different programs. And in fact, for each donor that donates to Science Care are able to contribute on average to 6 medical programs. So we really do maximize the intent of the donation.
Yeah, that's really excellent. And I'm sure that you have whole families that are on board with you, because it does take the pain and suffering, at least it lessens the pain and suffering when someone passes away, that you have to go through so many hoops to get that person either buried or cremated or something. And here you just make one phone call.
Absolutely. So many families, especially dealing with an unexpected passing, don't have access to the funds to have what they may have planned or thought that they wanted for the loved one, and that being a funeral service. And then once, seeing how much that costs, they simply don't have the funds. Or we have families that turn to us for altruistic reasons. They want to leave a legacy and do something impactful even after life.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I want to give you a little explanation. I was talking with an MD who's he's at one of the universities, and I was telling him about my my joining and being a part of Science Care, and he was so appreciative. He said, "I wish you could get that word out for more people, because we really need the bodies at medical schools. We just absolutely are short, and I don't know why that's true. Is it that people just don't know about it, or they don't want to do it, or what do you think?"
I think there's a couple things. I think, with the medical research group, that's growing in numbers as well. So as technology continues to advance, all the opportunities to advance medicine the two kind of go in tandem, and it's so rapid. If you look at just, iPhones, my husband always wants the newest iPhone, and it seems like every couple months we're getting a new iPhone because the new one has better features and new enhancements. It's just growing so rapidly. So on that side, he's absolutely right that we need more donors because the programs are growing so rapidly. And I think for people, a lot of it is just a lack of education and not knowing that donation is an option, or not understanding donation in its entirety. And then you have, their own personal choice, especially, different religious beliefs prevent them from being able to donate. So I think, you see cremation rates, they say it's going to be up to 56% of people are choosing to cremate. So I think the donation pool will also start to increase, certainly never get to 100% or even 56%, but definitely we'll see that continue to increase over the years. We already are. People are being more supportive of it, and I think that the media in different news outlets with social media and everything else going on has been able to educate those that aren't even necessarily out there looking for education on what's going on with medical advancements. So we're seeing more news about face transplants and cochlear implants and people being able to hear again. You see it even on your Facebook feed. They'll have a little boy that gets an implant and all of a sudden can hear mommy's voice again, and he's smiling, and and it brings tears to your eyes. But we're able to have those outlets to get people to relate to donation. A lot of people don't know that they have a connection to donation. We all do. Every time we go to the doctor's office, we are connected to the benefits of donation. It's just simply not knowing what that connection is. So I think you have to have that understanding first to open yourself to the option of donation.
Yes, I totally agree with you. I think you're really on target, and I think people just haven't thought about it. Years ago, I remember really years ago, maybe in the 20s, 30s, parents, my old grandparents, great-grandparents, when they got married, they used to say they bought a funeral plot and they bought life insurance. That was the deal. And then as time progressed, they probably still bought life insurance, but I don't know about what they did with the burial situation. They went to cremation, and now, I don't know, how long has your company been doing this? Has it been doing it about 10?
So this is our 17th year in business. We opened in 2000.
Right. So that's pretty exciting that, you see, you've been around a long enough time, and you must have thousands of members.
We do. We actually have over about 140,000 on our registry. So we've been very thankful for everyone's support. We have, welcome anybody to go to our Facebook page or any of our pages to hear the direct feedback from families and what donation means to them. A lot of people don't know what post-traumatic growth is. They know what post-traumatic stress disorder is, but nobody really talks about post-traumatic growth. And what post-traumatic growth is, it's a positive change experienced as a result of a major life crisis or a traumatic event. And when that happens, sometimes very positive things come from it. And that's how I would explain donation and being able to witness both personally and professionally families donate because something positive is coming out of the passing of their loved one, rather than just having, traditional burial, and that funeral is the goodbye. A lot of people try to have the funeral within the first few days, and a lot of people would try to force that hand so they can hurry and get that closure so they can grieve. With donation, there's life. There's life after death. There's impacting things that you see on the news and get a smile on your face remembering that dad had made a choice to contribute to that. So it's a very positive feeling after such a traumatic event, and that is just powerful. Donation is very powerful, and I encourage people to talk to those that have had experiences with donation because it goes well beyond of just giving of yourself. It's how it impacts all of us when we have to go to the doctor's office or have a surgery or take medication. It's very positive experience for those that are involved with it.
Absolutely. You are so right. And let me just tell everybody else who you're listening to, this is KATRINA Hernandez. She's a family services manager at Science Care. They are actually located in Phoenix, but they have representatives all over the country. And the way that it works, well, why don't you tell people the way that it works when someone dies, what happens?
Oh, absolutely. So if there is a passing, you do not have to be registered. So if you are at a time of need or know somebody in need, you can immediately contact our 800 number, 800-417-3747, to begin the process. Anyone can call to begin the process. That could be a next of kin, it could be a police officer, whoever is aware that you've made this decision. We go through a brief medical pre-screening, just asking questions on height, weight, other very general health questions. So we're able to determine acceptance into an open medical program. Once we have granted acceptance, we cover the transportation, filing of the death certificate, cremation, and the return of cremated remains within 3 to 5 weeks. So families are still able to have a service if they wish. A lot of people that choose cremation still have that very traditional funeral service feel, but with the cremated remains. And then others choose to not have it with the cremated remains. Again, it's a very personal choice. The great thing is with body donation, the only exclusions to becoming a donor are contagious disease, extreme obesity, or severely underweight are the only exclusions. And we do have our HOPE program, which is for hospice or terminally ill patients. So if you are under hospice care or have a terminal illness, we are able to begin the process now and then guarantee that donation for 12 months. So that really gives family peace of mind. You know, they know that it's already taken care of and that their family isn't going to be left with any type of burden, whether that's financially or just the stress of the process.
Great. Yeah, it is. People don't even think about the stress of any of this, but to just make that phone call and then you take care of everything. And so you're in every state, I believe, and different cities. So who comes there to help? Are these funeral directors that you work with?
Sure. So we are a national provider. We do have locations in 6 states: Arizona, California, Colorado, Florida, Pennsylvania, and now our newest being Illinois. If you happen to pass in a state outside of our 6 facility states, we do engage a local funeral home partner to assist us with the transportation and the death certificate and permit attainment to get those so we're able to process a donation. And then we would ship the donor, have the funeral home ship the donor and bring them into our care. So it would be to our nearest facility.
That's very easy. That's perfect. And then who keeps in touch with them? Does your organization or the funeral home, how does that work?
Oh, sure. So the funeral home is there in case other types of services are needed if they would like to upgrade their urn or still have a service, whatever they need, whatever those service elements are that funeral homes provide that Science Care does not. The funeral is definitely there for them as a resource. However, the service and the keeping in touch is with Science Care. So like I mentioned, we do return the cremated remains within 3 to 5 weeks. We also provide next of kin a family follow-up letter, what we call our legacy letter, that actually details the medical programs that their loved one was a part of. So they do get to see those advancements that are being made through whole body donors. So again, going back to that positive experience, they still receive that. And then at the 1-year anniversary of the donation, we do plant a tree in honor of their loved one and provide them the certificate. So that's definitely a family kind of crowd pleaser is definitely the planting of the tree. It's very special to them, and again, that's a year after the donation. So we continue to keep it a positive experience through our connections. And, we really do treat families as if they're our own. We become a Science Care family and stay in touch well after year and for years to come.
That's really great. And I know that you have, I think I had once heard you had a wall of people's pictures or thank you notes or something there at your office.
We actually do on our website as well. So we have our veterans wall. We have a lot of veterans, and we believe that to be because they've served their whole life, nothing but giving for other people, and they continue to do that after life, and they really do mostly opt for donations. We have our veterans wall, and then we also just have a wall of our donor families, and it's a way for next of kin to express their love and the meaning that donation had for them, and just the meaning that their loved one was for everyone and their family involved. So it's kind of a very brief obituary, but definitely a sharing of the positive experiences they had with them, and they provide the picture, and we place it all together on our memorial wall.
Oh my, it's not, you see, when you think about funeral homes, I just have to say this. Funeral home is for the moment. People go there, they have the service, they bury their person, and then next week you go, there's no picture of anybody there. There's nothing there that's anything different. It's who's up next, right?
Mm-hmm. It's, in funeral homes, they're great partners to us. Their service is just, it's much different than ours, and a lot of people do have that same feeling, and others have the opposite of feeling like it's short term. You're in there for a couple hours and that's it. But a lot of people elect and prefer that being a better choice if it's better for the family. So, it's all a personal choice, and we just all work together to try to help families in need. And I would hope that we all have that same initiative and care for each person, just as we would ourselves or our loved ones.
Well, I'll tell you a story that I have someone I know down here. She's works in a retirement community, and she heard that her son, who lived in North Carolina, had fallen from a roof and was in the hospital. He couldn't move, and I think was in a coma. And the prognosis wasn't very good. So I said to her about Science Care, because they really didn't have money. Her son didn't have money. She didn't have much, and people contributed even for her to fly to North Carolina. And she got there, and then she used Science Care, and she was so grateful.
Oh, great. Yeah, no, a lot of people don't know about it at that time, or would never think that they would have that grateful feeling, and they don't know what to feel because it's not something that they've thought of or pre-planned. And it's always great to hear, when they do go through the process, that it was good for them, and we did what we could do in that moment to make it just a little bit better.
Do you have people who write you then? You were saying that people do send you notes, and tell you how much.
Oh, yes, I do. I have a board up in our care center because I think it's a great reminder for our donation services coordinators and case managers to read that. I always tell all of my employees that we have such an important job, and this isn't one we can take for granted or even take lightly. We don't, hook up utilities. We're not a utility provider. We are so much more. We are a part of somebody's story. We're in their chapter of their book, if you will, and we have the power to take such a traumatic experience and impact it in a positive way. So I always encourage them to read them. I submit to them if I receive a personal call or letter to myself. I always share it with a group or survey feedback, or have my staff take a look at Facebook and just look at the comments that people are talking about on Science Care, because it does make you so proud to work for such a great organization and to know that your work really matters and it extends well past just that moment of time.
That's right. Someone's story. That's very well put. I mean, that's really so nice. Well, Katrina, what did you do before you joined Science Care?
Sure. I worked for a temporary housing provider assisting families that suffered a property loss. So whether that was on catastrophe duty for, Hurricane Katrina was one that I managed, as well as many other unfortunate catastrophes due to hurricanes and tornadoes and such, but also families that have suffered a house fire or a flood and lost all of their memories, within that. So I've always been in work that's very purposeful and has such great meaning, because that definitely fulfills me as far as personally and professionally.
Yeah, it seems like you just like to help people, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, it looks like that.
That's definitely what motivates me every day.
I'll bet when you first were talking to them at Science Care, however they found you, you had never heard of it before.
I did not. When I was looking around and I thought, it's time for me to change careers, and looking online, and first Science Care, the name got me. I was always wanted to be a trauma surgeon or some type of doctor in a very fast-paced, challenging environment. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to continue med school. So I first said, Science Care. Then I started reading about it, and I was fascinated with the service that they provide to families. And I said, wow, that's a caring company. I want to be a part of that. So that was the beginning of it, and it's been a few years now. I don't know if it's 3 or 4 years, so I'm still fairly new within the company, but it's been an amazing experience.
Right, and it is so worthwhile, and so I'm and in my position as a gerontologist, I am so aware of things like this, and when you think of it, and I don't know if your grandparents are living but when people who are elder pass away, it's very hard for the family members to figure out what to do. Now, sometimes they've already made arrangements, but if they haven't, the younger adults have to make arrangements very quickly. Well, let's say it's an older couple. So one is in shock. The other one's just passed away. They need people to help the grandparent, but yet there's so many bits and pieces to attend to. Now, you do a lot of help, don't you? You provide death certificates. You do a lot of work, I think.
We do. We try to take care of as much as we legally can take care of for the family, and if we're not able to directly take care of it for them, we offer the resources to make that happen, whether it's grief resources or they're struggling with the Social Security office and understanding what they need from them. We'll get on the line with the Social Security office and try to mediate that as much as we possibly can. So yeah, definitely here for services outside of donation. And just for myself, a lot of people say, well, you're more of an end-of-life educator, and I certainly am. It's like I said, donation is a personal choice. I'm just here to educate about what all the options are to end of life, because there's more past just a burial and cremation. There's university donation, there's organ donation, and April is Donate Life Month, and we take this month to really just educate everybody about all the options, because they're all equally important. And it just depends on the family's choice.
Right. Let me give information for people. So we want you to call and get information yourself. Phone number is 800-417-3747. And I'll repeat that because it's, this is Pencil Talk Radio. We'd like you to get your pencil and write it down so you'll have it when you want it. It's 1-800-417-3747, 24 hours a day. And their website is sciencecare.com. That's a great name, sciencecare.com, because they really do care, and it's all to do with science. The body is not going to be buried down in the ground, and whatever happens to that. This body is going to provide, as Katrina said, a lot of help for other doctors, for science, for research. It's really important, and I know that some people may be a little queasy about it, but don't be, because if you follow a body doing it the traditional way, what is that? But here, the body is kept in a certain condition, and then the universities or the hospitals, whomever wants this body or whatever they do with it, are going to use it for very good care, very, very good care. In fact, I have to tell you something. I forgot to tell you this. The doctor that was so thrilled that I was promoting having bodies, to be for science care, said after they do take the bodies, they then at the end of the year, the students have a big celebration and bring in the family members, and they appreciate them. Isn't that nice?
That is nice. And we receive thank you letters from the universities as well. It means so much to practicing surgeons or, those that are aspiring to be physicians and are going through medical school.
Right. Well, Katrina, thank you. I'm so glad that you and I could talk, and we look forward to doing it another time. And thank you, everybody. Remember, Science Care, you want to go to their website, which is sciencecare.com. It's very, very easy to do it, sciencecare.com, and the phone number is 1-800-417-3747. So thanks again.